Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series. This one is the 21st of January, 1984. 1984 heats up pretty quickly and is a pretty massive year for the company. Probably, some would say, the best year for the company. Others are of the opinion it's 85. But basically, we open with Jim Cornette, history with Magnum TA. Cornette comes out and basically says a wealthy man doesn't have to beg, doesn't have to work, doesn't have to sweat. He says that the Mid South brass are worried about him and his mother's money. They really good promo, actually worth going out of your way to see. Probably one of the better beginning Cornette promos. If you're a Cornette fan, you will enjoy it. The history with Magnum TA, basically, he calls him kind of a weak guy. And the champions, Magnum and Wrestling 2, basically say they are more than willing to fight with. Um, the Midnight Express, they'll fight him anywhere or anytime, is basically the inference that's made. Crusher Darsaw against Terry Taylor. Of course, we saw them kind of square off last week. Darsaw not exactly happy with this. Thinks Taylor's trying to put one over on him. Brawling begins here. Darsaw with some power moves, big body slam by Darsaw, and Darsaw going right to town. Takes Taylor into the buckle, snaps him over with a snapmare. Taylor comes back, couple of drop kicks under the chin. Fired up babyface as Taylor is during this era, and ultimately, just to be fair, to cover the Midnight Express thing more fully, they do recap the tarn and feather angle that's there. But Taylor, hits a back elbow and is pretty on fire during the early stages of the match. Big back body drop out of the corner, and we kind of see Taylor with some body slams. He actually takes control of the majority of the match on Darsaw. He has a abdominal stretch on him. Nikolai Volkov runs in, and Taylor cleans house on both guys. Terry Taylor, for better or worse, is portrayed well. Hung with the noose, actually, that Volkov brings to the ring with him. He has been bringing a white rope, which could be used as a noose for a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, the Russians double team on Taylor for a couple of minutes. It takes a while for Taylor to get any real help, which doesn't make sense to me. He's actually hung over the top rope in a very brutal angle at the time. Worth going out of your way to see if you've never seen this, just because, Taylor's a couple weeks into the territory and has been hung up. Rick Rude is the one who, in street clothes, comes out to help Terry Taylor. That's an odd pairing in itself. We move to the second match on the program, Roger Bond and Mike Jackson versus the Midnight Express. Midnights are there as the tag team champions. TA and Wrestling 2 are at ringside, kind of cutting promos, basically saying they are not afraid of the Midnight Express. We'll give them a match anytime, any place. Midnight Express wants the championships, so the fact that they're given a non-title match in a couple of weeks, I think, or maybe a week, doesn't exactly make them happy, but life isn't about making Midnight Express happy at all times. Anyway, Cornette challenges them from the ring and almost challenges them to keep coming, and tries to incite the champions. Condrey and Eaton again prove why they're one of the best teams in the area and in the world, even at the time. Cut the ring off for quite a bit. The commentary by TA and 2 basically saying that Cornette's leading a bunch of cowards indirectly. That's the undertone of it. Good double team maneuvers by the Midnight Express. Kicks there and a big flying knee from the top rope. Bobby Eaton rolls through on that. Beautifully done. And then we kind of see Condrey using knee over the throat, using any advantage he can get, and ultimately Bobby Eaton with an Irish whip, back elbow, and away we go there. Power slam from the middle rope by Condrey. I think it's the first time we've seen that particular maneuver in the area, but might even be one of the first times that move's been used in the United States. I'm sure it was done in Japan or internationally sooner, and I'm sure it's been done elsewhere, but I can't recall it being done anywhere else. They switched to a top rope or second rope elbow from a hanging position, and Bobby Eaton gets a quick victory there. Buddy Landel returns against Mike Starbuck, not Starbucks, the coffee place, but an enhancement talent. Buddy Landel returning here after being away for a little bit. He has bleached his hair blonde and about to go on a more major push. He gets some more mat time, but also Landel using kind of the chicken heel mentality. He is kind of starting to do the Ric Flair thing, poke to the eye, chops, kicks, basic stuff, but also doing a lot of backing up anytime there's a threat to him. So he's beginning to show more personality. Landel, one of my favorite heels of all time, probably during his Memphis run through his, running Crockett. But anyhow, full Nelson and kind of rubbing his opponent into the mat pretty aggressively. Full Nelson does not lead the opponent to tap out, but it's not meant to. It's meant to insult, and that it does. Starbuck ducks under a clothesline. Big catch by Landel. Landel hits the corkscrew elbow after a backbreaker and gets a victory here. We move to Mickey Henry versus Brian Adias. Adias has been mainly a mainstay in the world-class area for the last little while. First time that we've seen Adias, or at least I've seen Adias, outside of world-class. And he kind of gets some experience here. Stays on the arm pretty easily, does the Greco-Roman knuckle test, power lock and all of that. Really basic match, headlocks by Henry. Henry, a big guy for the time, doesn't really go too far. I don't imagine. I don't remember seeing a great deal of him, but he's got good size on him. Sends Adias into the buckle. He tries to get an advantage any way he can. Adias cuts him off pretty assertively, and then we see a drop kick under the chin. Adias good with that. Still only a couple of years in the business and manages to get a victory. His victory comes after I guess you'd say a botched leapfrog, and then tries to roll up, doesn't get that in the corner either. Diaz not really having a lot of, I guess, experience or ring positioning, but manages to win with a small package. Masa Ito, Masa Ito against Rick Rude. Rude again, an enhancement talent here. Still weird to see Rude as an enhancement talent. Ito, obviously an Oriental guy, kind of stout. And we see Ito with some shots under the chin, chops, kicks, and basic stuff, using some nerve holds. I'm not really terribly familiar with him, although he is, in the weeks to come, entered into the television championship tournament. Leg drop across the throat and neck of Rude, and Rude kind of takes some shots from underneath, and again, double chops to the chin. Ito is certainly not willing to take backward steps. He manages to get, again, back to chops and almost a chokeout type maneuver. Referee having to pry him off of Rude after a combination choke nerve hold, and several people have to run in to try to end that chaos. Rock and Roll Express music video is up next, and obviously the network version is edited. I assume Boys Are Back in Town might be the video, or Rock and Roll All Night. I don't know what the original song was, but the Rock and Roll Express will be in town within a couple of weeks. We will be back with more action right after this.